Hello, self lovers. Welcome to another episode of Komal Speaks Self Love. And in this episode, we are going to speak about something that changed my life forever. And this is going to be so life changing for you as well because I have framed this video in that way. I will not spin around, I would just tell you the word, which is metacognition. Here is a short disclaimer. I'm not a professional or a therapist. I am just speaking out of my personal experience, and my whole channel is about see if this works for you kind of content and not this will definitely work for you kind of content. So take what works for you and leave the rest. My first encounter with the word metacognition was with my therapist. My therapist told me, "You're thinking about your thoughts, Komal. Wow, that's really useful. Keep doing that." And I started to think about my thoughts only when I was asked questions about my own thoughts. That's where I think that therapy helps so much. Let's understand what metacognition actually is. Metacognition is awareness of our own thoughts in textbooks. But what I think in simple terms is thinking about thoughts. Just by thinking about your own thoughts and analyzing them and acting later can make you such a different person. This is what my life has been all about. I have strengthened this art of metacognition again and again and made myself a calm person. I used to be a reactive person, but now I respond. And how did this become possible? It's through metacognition. And in the end of this video, I'll tell you what are some things that has been wonderfully changed in my life through metacognition. And you will be convinced why I'm vouching for metacognition and you learning it so much. And before that, let me tell you some points that I think are important. Number one, metacognition is important because it asks you to think yourself from a third person perspective. And whenever you do that, you step out of your own discomfort and see yourself from a third person perspective. For example, I'm feeling stressed that I have work. But if I have a metacognitive ability, then I have a twin of mine who looks at me and goes, "Hey, I see you that you're stressed about this work. Let me help you out." So you have an additional brain that looks at you, shows compassion, and okay, it also can see all your thoughts. So it can give you a customized answer to whatever problems you have in life. So that's the power of metacognition. And in meditation, metacognition is seen as third person perspective, a observer perspective. The whole point of all meditations or the mindfulness meditation is that seeing yourself from a third person perspective and being present at the moment and seeing things as is. So when you see yourself from an observer perspective, your suffering stops because now you're aware of your suffering. And when you're aware of your suffering reduces and the solutions come in. So that's the power of metacognition. To practice metacognition, first is you will have to spot yourself doing one of the metacognition activities. For example, you're stressed. Take a moment and think of yourself as a friend and simply step into the third person perspective and tell yourself everything that you would tell to a best friend. It's as simple as that. If you do it once, then you know what it feels like. Then it's a moment of eureka because now you know how to step out of your own discomfort and comfort yourself. For people who are extremely anxious and reactive, can find this extremely difficult because you have never done this before and your mind is designed in such a way that you're quick to respond and quick to worry, and it's really hard to switch into that metacognition zone, because I have been in that place where I was so anxious. Anxiousness was ingrained in my body. Now rarely do I get anxious. Why? Because metacognition. To bring metacognition into practice, you have to practice it once, experience it, what it feels like. Next, practice it again and again. Only through practice it will come naturally to you. The number one thing that I recommend for bringing metacognition into practice is therapy. I know a lot of you want to go to therapy and delay it for one reason or the other, but I feel that if you're really committed to self-love and you're really committed to self-development and improving your anxiety or whatever life problem that you have been going through for a really long time now, therapy can help you keep accountable. For me, every now and then when I was asked questions, it simply made me think about my own thoughts. Week after week, I was asked about what I thought about my thoughts. So in that way, therapy kept me extremely accountable. And so it will do for you. And I have a video on therapy. If you want to know what are some myths about therapy, let's understand the science behind metacognition. Metacognition, I'm recommending to people who react more and who experience some emotional experience very quickly more, because there is something known as amygdala hijack. So this is your emotional brain getting hijacked. So whenever something disturbing happens, you suddenly go into a state of restlessness, a state of survival, a state of stress. And to battle that, you are doing metacognition. And when you start looking at your own thoughts or your own worries, you shift that part of your brain which is in activation to your forebrain. Forebrain is a part of your brain that does analysis and it takes new data and it understands a situation. So you are activating your forebrain, and that's how this whole entire thing works. From your emotional brain to your logical brain, and coming back to the emotional brain and telling the emotional brain that, hey, I understand you and let's figure out something for ourselves. So the helper mechanism comes into play here. Turning the emotional brain's connection to forebrain, metacognition is helping you. And hence, you're able to not react, instead respond. This brings me to a part of this video where I discuss how metacognition is related to self-love. Think of it as metacognition is husband of self-love, because there's a lot of analyzing and masculinity to metacognition, and self-love is more feminine and it's more compassionate, and it's also about thinking about thoughts, being compassionate and strengthening to act from a place of love. Metacognition is awareness, but self-love is kindness. Now I want to tell you what are the groundbreaking things that metacognition has done for me, and you will understand why you need to include metacognition into your self-growth and personal growth journey. The first one is overwhelm. Overwhelm is a state of mind when you are consumed by too many thoughts and you no longer understand what's your priority, what you need to do next. And it's a state of full-on confusion. So how does metacognition help you? So metacognition is thinking about your own thoughts, right? So when you are overwhelmed, when you're confused with all of those thoughts and there is a inability to take any decision, you step out of your self. You think of it as someone being overwhelmed, and now you help yourself. Okay, what is that one thing that I can do for myself that will help me overcome this overwhelm? Usually, overwhelm is the result of not having priorities in place. So when you are able to step out, you're able to see that you're not able to prioritize. So just by focusing on the topmost thing that you need to do, you conquer overwhelm. So how did you figure this out? by stepping out, by metacognition. And self-love, how self-love has played a role in this is it has given you an ability to see yourself from a place of compassion. Like, for example, I was stressed right now. A part of me steps out of me and says to me, hey Komal, I see you, that you're overwhelmed now. I see that. Let's sit with that feeling for a while. And once that feeling comes down, now let's understand what I can do to help myself. So that's how metacognition and self-love has played a role in this. Next is anxiety. I have been such an anxious person. Whenever I get anxious, so it's a fear getting triggered. So I exaggerate something in my mind, and my body starts to react in a very scared. So it's giving me all symptoms of being scared. My heart is beating, my breathing is going up and down, and all of that is happening. So what metacognition did to me is it helped me understand I need to step out of my own body and see myself from a place of compassion. Say to myself, hey, I see you. I know that you're scared of you, but this thing that you're scared of, it's not as bad as you think it is. So multiple times I said this to myself. First I calmed myself down and I said this to myself, and I repeated this over and over and over again. And my body learned that whatever I'm worrying about right now, it's does not deserve that kind of attention. And that's how I conquered it. Next is anger. I have not completely tackled anger, but I'm in the process. So when I'm angry, I again step out of my body, and then I see myself. What hides behind anger is sadness. Only when I step out, I'm able to see this, that I've been hurt. That's why I'm feeling angry. Not that I'm a crazy person and my body is trained to feel and something is wrong with me. Nothing like that. There is a reason why I am angry, and at that moment, if I am using metacognition, I'm able to step out and think a solution for myself for that particular situation and come out of it. Stress. I've already dealt with stress. I no longer get stressed because whenever I get stressed, I understand that stress is not going to help me get solutions. A calm mind is. So I breathe into it and step out of myself and understand what I need at this moment to reduce this stress and do so. So in this multiple situations, you saw how metacognition helped me, and it can help for you to just stay consistent and work towards it. The more you speak to yourself compassionately, stepping out of your own body, your own mind, and think about your own thoughts, metacognition gets stronger and stronger, and you lead a much more beneficial, amazing, superb life. Self-love can be defined as metacognition plus love. You respond instead of react. The self-love is like a kind parent, but you can train yourself to be a kind parent through the method of metacognition. In this video, I have shown you how metacognition has changed my life, and it can change your life too. If you found value in this video, don't forget to give me a like, comment what you'd like me to do next, share it with a friend if you think it might benefit them, subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.